Alrighty guys, Venom is a Vanguard hero, aka a tank in Marvel Rivals, and he specializes in hit and run and disruption of the enemy team. First we'll go over his kit and then we will talk about his playstyle and how you should approach playing Venom. First, his basic attack is a strike with all his 4 symbiotic tentacles. This is a close to medium ranged attack and his 4 tentacles strike in rapid succession, one after another. His passive ability is called Alien Biology and it allows Venom to crawl and run on walls, which enhances his mobility and allows him to flank better. Moving on to the active skills, we have Venom's main traversal ability, which is the Venom Swing, where Venom launches forward and swings in a direction. This skill can be chained together with his passive, so if you swing into a wall or a vertical surface, you can then press X on console or space on PC to start crawling on the wall and wall run. Ideally, you would use this skill either to engage by swinging in behind the enemy lines or wall running and bypassing the first line. Venom Swing can also be used to get out of an engagement, whether you are in danger or you got into a bigger fight than you can carry. If Venom Swing tends to feel clunky for you, this is usually because the game tends to pick some weird spots to anchor your swing, and then you are all over the place. If this is the case for you, you can go into settings, then head over to controller, make sure Venom is selected, and you can turn off easy swing. If you fancy it, you can also turn on hold to swing, so the swinging feels more like Spider-Man, where you swing while you hold the button and release when you take your finger off the button. Venom Swing leads into Venom's second ability, which is Frenzied Arrival. With this skill, Venom basically turns himself into a cannonball and deals damage and launches enemies forwards when he lands. Frenzied Arrival does not have to be chained together with Venom Swing and can also be used individually when jumping from a certain height. The next ability is called Cellular Corrosion, and here Venom explodes or lets loose his tentacles to grab every enemy within his reach, whether they are currently in front of him or behind him. The tentacles apply a 15% slow on each of the enemies caught in them, and if they do not break away in 3 seconds, then they take damage. If they manage to break away from Venom, then nothing happens to them. Cellular Corrosion is great at the start of an engagement or when you are trying to peel for someone and slow down whoever chases them. Venom's last ability is Symbiotic Resilience, which is basically a self-heal. Using this skill grants Venom bonus health. He receives an 100 instant bonus and then extra health that is directly tied into the amount of the health he lost. So basically, the lower your health when you trigger this ability, the more bonus health you'll get back. This skill requires a bit of discipline because you want to trigger it not when you're full health at the start of an engagement or close to full health, but when you're low, basically giving you an extra life. Finally, Venom's ultimate ability is called Fist of the Abyss. Venom burrows underground and can move freely. When he resurfaces, he deals damage based on the amount of health the enemies currently have and converts that damage into bonus health. This ability is best used as an engager when your enemies have high health, because if you use it when they are low, you basically minimize the amount of total damage you will cause. Now that we went through Venom's abilities, this is how your ideal chain would look like. First, you Venom Swing in behind the enemy lines, go down with Frenzied Arrival and then trigger Fist of the Abyss. Emerge with bonus health and use Cellular Corrosion to slow down the enemy team. When you're getting low, trigger Symbiotic Resilience to survive, and when you feel like you're overpowered, use Venom Swing to get back to cover. Of course, if you don't have your ultimate, just go down with Frenzied Arrival and use Cellular Corrosion. So basically, you will want to play Venom not necessarily as a protector, but as a hero who flanks, goes in behind enemy lines, causes damage and chaos, and then zips back out. Needless to say, when you are flanking the enemies, you should target their healers first, then their DPS, and lastly, their vanguards. If you found the info in this video helpful, help me out by subscribing to the channel, and keep slaying.